What we doing? What we doing?
Night football. Raiders
Right?
obviously going into the Lions den for the
Yes, sir.
Lions redemption game after a brutal loss to the Ravens.
They got humbled real fast.
They got ran over.
Yeah, that scares me. I think the Lions are a lot better than how they played in that game, obviously. But to see them crumble so quick against the top team in the conference, it's kind of scary.
Absolutely.
But
5-1 at the time, and you fought
but
Lamar Jackson like you're a peewee team at that point.
it's one
How it
game.
looks.
I'm not gonna overreact. The Lions have played so well through their first 6 weeks of the season. I'm not really worried.
And we get another game in prime time to see how they perform tonight.
Under the bright lights, baby.
Now returning Jimmy G. We got our Monday night football bets, best picks, whatever you want to call them, lined up.
Did a little bit of research.
Oh, we dug in for this one.
Oh, absolutely. You want to kick us off?
I guess I'll start with the one I've been high on. So I put it on the notes last night before anything got started. And that's Sam Laporta for over 44.5 yards. He's been
100%.
tearing it up all season. His target share has just gone up every week. And, I mean, Goff's just going to run it down the middle of the night. They're getting revenge after that game against the Ravens, and Laporta's almost his number one, especially if Amon doesn't play. But that's still yet to be seen.
We need to mention that Amon-Ra has we haven't really heard much news about Amon-Ra. It's just an illness he's battling. So we're hoping he can pull through. But even if he does, I wouldn't go too heavy on him tonight.
That's almost the same thing with Patrick Mahomes and the other receiver from Sunday. They've been putting a lot of illnesses out lately after the whole Jons Robinson situation.
Yeah. Sorry about the camera turn off, guys. Got to make sure I know where I'm going really quick.
Hey, I'm sure they understand the improv that
Man,
on the highway getting our props out.
It's gonna be off for like 2 seconds, but I'm here to talk. But yes, 100%. I think Laporta over 44.5 is the closest thing to a guarantee we'll probably get in this game. He's gonna get his targets, and like you said, if Amon-Ra doesn't play, that's only gonna up his target share even more.
He hit it in 5 out of the 7 games, so
absolutely. He's been a monster.
Again, like you said, as close to a lock as you can get.
Even last week in the blowout, I think he had 7 catches for 56 yards or something like that.
He's, like I mentioned, almost Goff's number one, regardless of Amon-Ra coming back or not, because with these illnesses, they're not going to be at 100%.
100%, I agree. Speaking of Goff, I'll hit you with my next favorite pick of the night. I'm going to go Jared Goff alt passing yards at 225 plus. He's been slinging the rock all year. He's hit 225 in 6 of the 7 games this season.
Absolutely, every game but one.
I think it's even more of a reason for him to hit it tonight. Obviously, they're without their powered back in David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs in the lineup, but gets involved a lot in the passing game, as we seen last week. Was like their second highest target share. So I think Goff comes out again slinging it tonight. I think they have
they could get their number one receiver back, and it's a revenge game. So everything should line up for Goff to have 7 of 8 games at 225.
And even without Amon-Ra, I think he still hits it. I think he's got decent enough targets. Josh Reynolds stepped up a few times this season. We've yet to see a breakout game from Jameson Williams, which I'm sure is to come eventually. And obviously Sam Laporta.
They're your Super Bowl pick for a reason. Their offense, I mean, looks stacked and healthy.
Yeah, they're deep. That's the biggest thing they improved on this offseason. They got a lot of depth in that roster.
Absolutely. I guess that leads us into our next one. Someone you got to be high on after his rap sheet the past couple of weeks. Jacoby Myers over 4.5 receptions tonight.
100%. That was my next pick.
Been taking almost all of Devontae Adams' target share, as we discussed a little this morning. I mean, he's looking like Jimmy G's number one. And he's getting 70, 60 yards almost every week now.
Obviously, we've seen a lot of I wouldn't say struggle out of Devontae this year, but a lot of a step down from Devontae, I guess, in like targets wise. And Jacoby's been that guy to step up per se. He shared a lot of targets in every single game this season. He brings in at least 6 or 7 targets a game. So for him to bring in 5 catches tonight, I think is pretty easy. With obviously, like
People know with a 6-foot beast like Devontae, you got to double him, and then that leaves less coverage on Jacoby,
100%.
who is now their fastest receiver. May not be a deep ball threat like Devontae, but
I've been decently big on Jacoby most throughout this season, and just seeing him each week just proves it even further. I mean, I think he had like 14 targets last week. Like, he's gonna get his share. But next pick, I think I'm gonna stick on the side of the Raiders for the moment. Obviously, we have more picks for the Lions.
keep everything on the Meyer side of things.
Yeah, I think most people were thinking, more so Devontae Adams route, but they're playing Monday night primetime. It's the night before Halloween. The return of Michael Myers, baby Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
I think Michael Mayer's reception line, if I'm not wrong, was 2.5, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going over on 2.5, 100%. I almost believe that to be a guaranteed pick in my eyes. Mayer's just continued to be more involved in the offense as the weeks go by. Obviously, they were hurt last week by the start of Brian Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell. The passing game wasn't all that. But when Jimmy G plays, Michael Mayer is one of his favorite targets.
We
I think for him to
seen that this tight end class has been amazing, and
tremendous.
this for another check down target for Jimmy G, and I think tonight will show it.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy G is going to be hesitant to start the game at least. I think it'll take him a few drives before he starts heaving it downfield. And I think that's the perfect opportunity for Mayer to grab 2 catches in the first drive and be set for 3 throughout the game.
Absolutely, and you could easily lean over because they have his receiving yards at 21.5 and take that just as well for minus 122.
That's his thing. He's a big guy. He'll take them drag routes, 10, 12 yards down the field, and that could be a one-play hit.
Exactly. Pretty cool check down, get his receptions and his yards right there.
Exactly. I love Mayer tonight.
If you're feeling confident, the Lions obviously are projected to win. They're minus 330, but throw that in a little parlay because it's a redemption game. So I feel them taking this. But
I know I said it a little bit earlier. I don't mind the money line. I don't find a lot of value in the money line as my issue.
But the spread you mentioned, is that where we're taking this?
Yeah. I think if I'm leaning for a Lions win, I think they for sure cover the minus 7.5 base spread on the game. But I would even bump it up to minus 9.5 if you ask me. I think that was at plus 118 earlier. I feel like the Lions have something to prove tonight. So if they come out swinging, I think they could blow the Raiders out, in all honesty.
Point definitely.
Yes, so yeah, I think I'm going to take the spread in a few of them. I think we need to at least talk about 1 or 2 of our anytime touchdown picks. I know we've been a little sketchy on them in this game, but I think we need to mention at least a couple options. You want to give me your
I'll go with I guess, but I gotta see Jameer Gibbs whether outright he's getting so much.
It's a little laggy when you're talking. I think I picked out you were talking about Jameer Gibbs there. I don't know if that's on my end or not, but I think I heard you say Jameer Gibbs. I like Jameer Gibbs if we're going Lions-wise. My Lions, he's definitely my top Lions pick in my opinion. We've seen him majorly involved last week, especially since David Montgomery's been out. He's becoming more of a problem in the pass game, which makes him more of a threat to get in the end zone. But we've seen he had their only touchdown last week in the 38-6 loss to Baltimore, and it was a fourth quarter 30-yard breakoff run. So I could see Jameer Gibbs getting in the end zone for sure tonight.
Exactly. If they end up ahead, that's almost an easy end zone.
If we want to give 2 picks from each team, we'll each pick one. If we're sticking Lions side, my next best option, I think you. And I guess this kind of depends. If Amon St. Brown plays,
it's a lean.
I like him for a touchdown. I don't think he's on FanDuel right now, so that's why we're kind of fading him at the moment. It's leaning more towards, either he won't play or he'll have a bad game. My second Lions pick is no doubtably Sam Laporta. He's become such a red zone threat for the Lions. And if Jahmyr Gibbs can't finish off a drive, I think Jared Goff's going to look Laporta's way a lot down.
This draft class of tight ends is proving why they look so good, and tonight will be another reason Sam Laporta shows why he's so good.
Yeah, we got two of the best in this class going head-to-head tonight, in Mayer and Laporta. So I expect them to have, a little bit of a back and forth at some point. If you want to go Raiders, though.
I feel like it's a toss-up if we're going Raiders. I love Devontae with Jimmy G back. Jimmy G loves Devontae. So I feel like if you want to have your most confident Raiders anytime touchdown, you go Devontae. But another toss-up in their wild card, whether Devontae is there or not, the last few weeks has been Jacoby Myers. So yeah. I feel like that's my two. It may be two obvious ones, but
yeah, Jacoby has had a touchdown in four straight games, actually. But I know we've seen a lot of complaints from Davante Adams here these last few weeks. Like we said multiple times, Jimmy G's back tonight. I think he looks Davante's way a lot tonight. So I like Devontae as a safe touchdown pick. I think he's due for a big game, a big touchdown at least. But like you said, Jacoby Myers has been so consistent that it's hard to bet against him. 4 straight games with a touchdown is somewhat of an impressive feat in the league as a number 2 wide receiver option.
Absolutely, and obviously Josh Jacobs is a dog. But if they end up down with the Lions seeking revenge after a beatdown, it could be hard for him to end up in the end zone.
Yeah, I do like Josh Jacobs. I have a bold take for the night. If you want one wild touchdown wild card, I think that may have a chance of getting in. It sounds crazy. We've seen Josh Jacobs not be as dominant this season. His carry share has kind of diminished a tad bit from what it was last year. He's not as much of an end zone threat anymore. I like Zamir White tonight too. He's a guy in that Raiders backfield that's gotten involved, more and more here these last few weeks. I think if Jacobs is struggling, they're not going to hesitate to throw him in and maybe, the 3 or 4 yard line and see if they can get a fresh body in there to push him in the end zone.
They got to start trying other things, especially with Josh Jacobs having such inconsistency lately. But I feel like they need to get him more involved in the passing game. Could be their issue.
Yeah, and we've seen a big game in week 2 that we talked about from Jacobs in the passing game. He had like 8 catches for 81 yards. But, his looks have just kind of went down from there. It's sad to see Jacobs, I guess you could say, on the decline compared to what he was doing last season. But we all know what he's capable of when he's on. Just like we seen last night with Austin Eckler. He's had a rough few weeks, but when they want to play football, they can play football.
Absolutely. I do want to mention a quick lean for the over-under. They have it at 45.5. I think they may have changed it to 46 or something earlier. It fluctuates a lot the closer you get to game time. So, I mean, it could change before this is even posted on YouTube and other platforms. But
absolutely,
I'd like to mention a lean for the under tonight. I mean, it is a revenge game, but the Lions have a decent defense. I don't see it being a game where they necessarily put up 38 and then one more touchdown field goal kind of busts the line even then. But so I would like to lean towards the under if you want to throw in a parlay tonight.
I like that. I don't think the Raiders are very explosive. Obviously, we've seen a dud from the Lions last week. I think the Lions cover the 10-point spread, like I said, but I could definitely see it being, like a 24-10 game or, 17-7, something like that, to where they just kind of, scrape by, I guess, per se.
Absolutely. At most, I like a 24-13 type thing. I don't even expect the Raiders to be all that crazy tonight. They're the Raiders.
That's why it's nerve-wracking to take a Raiders touchdown. But we gave you guys a few good options, I feel like.
Yeah, we'll let Trav get back to safer travels now on this trip. We had to hop on and give you our Monday Night Football picks.
Just been cruising down the highway, my boy, talking sports.
Making bit more fun of a drive, I guess.
Yeah. But I know I'm gonna be cooking up some parlays with some of these picks we gave y'all. So we hope you guys do too. Maybe win you a little bit of money tonight. Best of luck to you. I think we can start to make this somewhat of a tradition, on primetime night games. Giving out some
Absolutely. We got to start hopping on, giving our favorite picks. And I
or
mean,
maybe even,
once
come
they see
on.
this rap sheet from tonight, they'll want to tune in for more.
I'm telling you, maybe even, Sunday mornings. If you want to hop on for a minute, give out a few picks for the day.
Absolutely.
We'll make
I'm
this a little bit
100% with it.
of a thing here, especially if tonight goes well.
Absolutely.
I think we got some safe picks and some good reasoning behind what we told them, though, so I think we'll be all right.
We mentioned our leans, everything else. We mentioned why it should be a lock, so we shall see.
Absolutely.
It's been
Obviously,
a
we're not
50-50 season, so we shall see.
Obviously, we're not from the future. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but if we're playing statistics, we're doing the best we can.
Absolutely.
But all right, yep. I'm gonna finish this drive home. I'm gonna get some bets in. I'm sure we'll talk here in a few.
Absolutely.
So we
Thank
appreciate you guys
you
for checking us
again,
out.
Trav, for
Absolutely.
hopping in mid-70 trip.
Absolutely.
Thank
No problem at all, baby.
everybody for tuning in. It's been our Monday night picks and our best bets. Hopping on.
We'll see you guys on Friday.